this segment, we have two lawyers, as they have described themselves, and also I will start with the person on my right-hand side. He is the chairman of Nigeria National Human Rights Commission, and that is Professor Chidi Odinkalu. Great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. And then on the other side, we have the former chairman of the EFCC and also an erstwhile political aspirant for the highest office in the land, and he was presidential candidate for the ACN in the last election. Good morning, Malam Nuhu.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good. Now, let's take a quick look at development in Nigeria and state of the nation, where we're going with our Nigeria. You're all here at the Governors Forum's retreat. You are resource people. You're going to be engaged in sharing your thoughts in terms of taking Nigeria to the next level. I'll start with you, Prof. What is it you think governors can do between now and 2015 that will shift the paradigm for this nation?
Well, you can look at governors as a collective, or you can look at governors in their respective states. And different governors at different levels of performance. Different governors are, in fact, at different levels at different points in the political cycle. There are first-time governors who are looking, some of whom may be looking to return, and therefore looking to for payoffs for their people that will help renew their mandates. There are second-term governors who are looking for legacies, who are looking to build themselves in the imagination of their respective populations. And so depending on where the governor is in these cycles, I think the challenges are different. But look, governors are politicians. Politicians are in the business of harvesting goodwill. And at the end of the day, there's only one Nigeria. And they all belong to different political parties, but they all belong to the same country. And I do think the biggest thing, in my view, that governors can do for us in this country is to return civility to political contestation. And in doing that also to return ideas to political contestation. Articulate ideas that Nigerians can identify with, but do it in a way, and articulate difference in a way that nevertheless rallies the country and unites the country around a vision of a better country. I do think that that is really the challenge of leadership that we have now.
Okay, well, I would very quickly want to move to Malam because we have a number of questions that we will be bouncing off both of you. Now, the key issues that we discussed with the governors that have been on the set this morning as being the issue of moving Nigeria forward, the issue of corruption, and Governor Amechi made reference to the fact that on the issue of corruption, the current crop of governors, they're the ones identifying the fact that there's corruption in high places. There was an era when EFCC was feared by people in Nigeria. There was that era. Now it's no longer being feared, and it's not an issue for people that EFCC is coming after them that much anymore. Do you still think that we are in the era where corruption is extremely rife?
First and foremost, we are here on our own invitation, the governors, to share with them our views and perspectives on national issues. And of course, like you rightly said, the issue of corruption is central. We believe that unless and until we are able to do something about corruption, chances are we are not likely going to achieve much. Today, the governors are the ones who are heading the federating states. We are in a federation. And federation means collection of different states. They are extremely very important in everything to do with how Nigeria is run and governed. There is need for them to be the example of what good governance is all about. They are the ones who are supposed to be in the forefront of transparency and accountability. They should be the ones to lead. EFCC is there, of course, you are right. EFCC is there to enforce the anti-corruption laws. But my take about fighting corruption is a little bit more than that. It's about leadership. It's about those who are in charge of our own affairs will take the lead for others to follow. We believe that for us to be able to really control and stop corruption, the governors will have to just wake up. They must lead by example, and if they are able to do it very well, they are not likely going to have issues with, for example, federal government. In the system we operate today, the federal government is in charge of enforcement, particularly anti-corruption laws. And if governors are okay and they are doing very well and they are clean, you are not likely going to have problems with those who are given the responsibility of enforcement of the anti-corruption laws. So they are critical and they are important, and I want to see them take the lead in the war.
Madam, how possible is that when the governor wields so much power and he's got so much money to control, and he has that thing called the security vote, which he doesn't have to account for to anybody? I mean, how can he possibly be clean in these circumstances?
It's exactly the case we are talking about. They are the leaders, they are in charge, they are the ones with the trust. They are voted and given this responsibility to hold it and do it very well. Everything that we have is with them. And that's what matters. Leadership is about honesty, it's about transparency, it's about accountability. We have good governors. It's not that we are saying all governors are not doing well. No. There are examples of good governors. Even when I was at the EFCC, certainly we saw some of the states with fairly good and average performance in terms of accountability and transparency. You said, well, they have money and the money is with them. But it's not for you to take it and use it personally. It's not for you. It's the commonwealth of the people of the state.
Who's going to stop you?
That is where the challenge is. You see, by our constitution, first, those who are supposed to check the governors in the political arrangement will be the state assembly. They are supposed to check the governor, they are supposed to investigate, they are supposed to ensure that the resources belonging to the state is properly managed and used.
Now, if they fail, this scenario, I'm the governor, I have all these resources, and I can buy the house. I have enough money to buy them, to keep them quiet and keep them on my side. And anytime anyone wants to make any trouble, I throw some more money at him. Not even in naira, in dollars.
No, bad person if you do that. And that is what we are trying to avoid. We feel that a leader must be honest. A leader shouldn't be a thief. I'm so sorry to use that word. If you take money that doesn't belong to you, if you take and convert what is supposed to be public money and selfishly convert it to your own selfish interest, then you are extremely very bad person. And if you get away with it here, be assured that God will ask you and you will be held accountable one day. Okay.